Hello and welcome to another episode of Live Feed on Spotify. Live Feed on Spotify is brought to you by thebullyexposed.com. Today we're going to look at a unique style of bullying, corporate bullying. We're going to look at a video from a guy named Ray William Johnson, and I'm going to be giving you my take on everything that occurred in this video, and then I'm going to tell you of another story. So let's listen in.
Imagine you criticize a billion-dollar company online, and then they retaliate by stalking you. Now this all starts with this woman, Ina. And Ina's around 60 years old, living in Massachusetts with her husband, this guy, David. And Ina and David, they run a website out of their home, where Ina basically blogs about online shopping platforms like eBay and Etsy and Amazon, platforms like that. And one day in 2019, Ina writes a blog post that changes their lives forever. She writes about the CEO of eBay, and she says that this guy gets paid like $18 million a year, which is 152 times what regular employees at eBay make. And so thousands of people regularly read her blog, and they leave comments like, "That guy makes way too much." The comms director of eBay, he happens to see this article, and he shares it around the company. And that is when the CEO of eBay himself sees it, and he gets super pissed, and he decides he's gonna retaliate.
What is going on in your life that you feel that as a CEO that you have to embed yourself in this bullshit that is going on, even if it isn't truly hurting your company? What kind of child do you have to be, a grown man child do you have to be, to want to get so upset that it comes to this?
And so he texts the comms director, "Take her down." And the comms director texts back, "We're gonna crush this lady. I wanna see ashes, as long as it takes, whatever it takes." And so a revenge plot begins against an elderly couple who have no idea what's about to hit them.
This is how corporations act. They won't tell you that they're coming after you. They will spend thousands and thousands of dollars just to keep you from getting $5. That's how these corporations operate. I've seen companies waste tons of money just to keep someone from getting something that they deserved in the first place.
And so soon after that, Ina starts noticing some rather intimidating posts about her on Twitter, like that her website is hurting eBay users, and she sees posts from people threatening to visit her home address. Then she starts getting threatening DMs like, "Shut up, bitch," or "Watch what happens." One day she receives a strange package in the mail from an anonymous sender, so now David and Ina, they know they're being watched. While David, he installs cameras all around the house, and he stops sleeping through the night so that he can check the cameras every 2 hours. Sometimes he'll see people outside their house dropping off more anonymous deliveries at like 4 a.m.
If I received packages from a company, from people harassing me, and then I wake up at 4 in the morning, I'm looking at a video where a guy is delivering a package, I would go out there and confront him.
So over time, these two become too scared to even leave their house. And so one day, David decides that he's gotta leave to go get groceries. And as he's driving to the grocery store, he sees a silver SUV in his rear view.
You definitely have to be careful when you're in this type of situations with these guys in their cars, because you don't know if they're there to ram you off the road or if they're just there to scare you. So you have to be very careful in this situation.
So he gasses it to speed away, and he takes a sudden turn, but the SUV is still on him. And he calls the police, and he pulls up right out front. And that is when the SUV sees that they're now at the police station, and it speeds away. Now, luckily, David was able to get a picture of the SUV and its license plate.
It's important when you're in a situation like this not to panic so much that you forget to make phone calls, that you forget to get pictures of license plate numbers. This guy did a great thing.
And so later, police figure out that the silver SUV was a rental and that it was rented to a woman who works at eBay. And so suddenly, kaboom, it finally all makes sense. That this was a coordinated harassment campaign run by the top execs at eBay to torture them into silence.
Someday when the rich aren't controlling the world, this kind of thing will be taken very, very seriously.
And this is a huge story. So police contact the FBI and they get the FBI involved, and the FBI starts investigating, and they look into everything. The Twitter accounts, the deliveries, the Craigslist ads, and they trace all of it back to 7 different employees of eBay's security team.
It is extremely important to have integrity. It truly is. Not a joke. It truly is, because when you are told to do something illegal or something immoral, even if it's not illegal, or if you don't know where it lies in the position of, illegal or immoral, don't do it. Don't do it. And shortly in this video, you will see why.
And so, bam, all 7 of them are arrested. Of course, news of this gets out, and all 7 of the security employees plead guilty, with several of them getting years in prison. The same can't be said for the execs at eBay who these employees took orders from. As you would expect, eBay conducted an internal investigation of themselves. They determined that they did no wrongdoing. And the comms director who wrote, "I want to see ashes," he faced no criminal charges, and he's now currently a very well-paid CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Silicon Valley.
And this is what I'm talking about. These people are never held accountable. In fact, we should call up the Boys and Girl Scouts, somebody tag them, and let them know what their CEO did before working for them. We should boycott that company until they release them. That's what we should do.
While the CEO of eBay, who said, "Take her down," after the stalking scandal broke, this CEO, he acknowledged no wrongdoing and he resigned, but he left the company and he walked away with a $57 million severance package.
If there's anyone listening to this that understands contracts and how contracts work, can you please let me know how this happened? Because from my understanding, contracts work that, there's always a clause in there, well, if you do anything that embarrasses the company, you will be terminated without any type of severance pay, or, the contract, if you write a contract for 2-year contract, and within those 2 years you do something like this, you're terminated and they don't owe you anything. I don't understand how this guy got money. The only thing that would make sense to me is that eBay, the powers that be at eBay, which are higher than the CEO, told him to go after this guy and he was just following directions, or eBay was doing other things that were horrible, and he used that as leverage of, well, if you don't pay me a severance pay, I'm going to do this.
And of course, he faced no criminal charges, and now he's on the board of directors of General Motors.
Yeah, of course he is. So let's boycott General Motors, a permanent boycott.
While eBay itself, the company, is criminally charged, and they pay a $3 million fine, which is like nothing to them, all that money goes to the government, not to Ina and David. Eventually, Ina and David do sue eBay in civil court, and eBay settles with them out of court for an undisclosed amount. Hopefully, it was millions.
I know that there's a lot of people out there that love big corporations and think that they should be allowed to do whatever they want, but they shouldn't. And I'm glad to see that this story ended well. We as common people have to start looking at corporations and really hold them accountable, and not be afraid or not be brainwashed to think that it's okay for people to act this way, because it's not. It makes me laugh all the time when people are like, well, you can't fight the corporation, you can't fight the government. We are the government. We are the corporations. How? Don't use their product. Hold them accountable. When you work inside, don't allow companies to do this kind of stuff and just do what they want you to do. There are companies that, there's a person that works for Amazon that was big person in Amazon, and he went and did some whistleblowing. Now Amazon's coming after him. These companies need to be held accountable. Now, I promised you I will give you one more story. There is one more story out there, and the story is about Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo did the same thing. What they were doing was they were making accounts without people's permission. And when they got caught doing it, all the high ups threw all the people, all the lower people under the bus, as if they were coming and they thought of this thing all by themselves. And it really is a shame that they have the power to keep people from coming out and being able to say no. They threatened us with our jobs if we didn't do this. I think that they were giving them quotas as well. I'm not too sure about that, so we'll take that with a grain of salt. But I believe that that's what they were doing too. They were, you're not hitting your quota. So it's like you can't be a person that says I'm not going to do this because they're wrong. But I'm not going to say I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. You couldn't do that because you had a quota, if that in fact is the truth. And don't be mistaken. This is workplace bullying, and these companies need to be held accountable, and we need to boycott. It doesn't matter if we're going to one store only the rest of our lives to shop. That's what we need to do. We can't be thinking to ourselves, well, I'm not going to boycott them because I can't make a difference. You can make a difference. All right, so I want to thank Ray William Johnson for creating that video. You should go check him out. Just do a search for him on Google. He's got some great material. I want to remind you guys to like, share, subscribe, and send this to someone who maybe this has happened to. This kind of stuff is happening a lot, believe me. So be sure to check out our other videos about workplace bullying and different questions asked by our subscribers, and be sure to subscribe, whether it's here on Spotify or on YouTube. Thank you very much. We love you guys, and have a great day. See you in the next video.